Hey guys, Todd Lewis here. Finally getting around to shooting that first video that I've been promising for a little while. Sorry it's been taking me so long, been a lot going on. It's first of the year. Going to be hitting the road here in a little bit. So it's going to be some cool stuff and some more content that I'm going to be able to make for you guys. So keep those questions rolling in and make sure to subscribe over on the YouTube side. This will also be linked on the Facebook, so make sure to join both sides, and make sure to join the Monday at noon live editions of Q&A, where you can get your questions answered right there on the spot. So make sure and join me for that, noon Eastern time every Monday, unless something just odd happens. The first episode that we're doing here is was based on a question. I had a question in one of the live sessions that really made a lot of sense. I'm going to change it up a little bit, but we're going to go over some stuff. The question was brought that, what's your workflow? What do you know? What's a good workflow to for being a live sound guy, engineer, whatever term you put on yourself? But I'd written down some notes and I was just looking at them and I went, that's really not my style. So one of the biggest things I really want to emphasize in all this is, there's going to be things that I say that have worked for me over the years, things that I've learned, and that's the whole reason I'm here, is to help some of you guys that haven't had the exposure in some of the settings that I have. So don't feel bad that you have a question, or and don't feel dumb about any questions that you may post anywhere. If it's better to private message me on the pages, fine. Feel free to message me. So make sure to get the questions in. Don't worry about being considered slow, dumb, or whatever. We're all here to learn. I'm here to learn. I think this page is going to help me do some learning by judging and looking at my own things that I do. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. Really, the question was about workflow, but I think I needed to get something out of the way that ties into workflow. Attitude. Attitude is such a huge thing. It's easy to go to school and learn the mechanics and learn what knob to twist and what button to press and all the things, and pull together a fairly successful show. The biggest difference between people that get higher up the ladder, for the most part, the number one, be positive, be a problem solver, be a solution. Don't be another problem that the venue has to deal with, your tour manager, your production manager, the band. Don't be a problem. We're here as solution creators, not problem causers. So if you like to complain and you like to actually cause problems, stop, reevaluate, go push buggies at Walmart. We don't have time for it. And I hate to hurt anybody's feelings by saying that, but it's the truth. When it comes to my daily workflow, I think the number one thing, especially with the size of our shows now, just got done with the 2019 Beer Never Broke My Heart tour. A lot of shows in that, a lot of trucks, a lot of gear. The biggest thing to always keep in mind is to be organized. Number one, always be organized. Your cases, they've got room for all the stuff, but once you have a system, always put your stuff where it goes. That way you can open a drawer, see what's there, what's not, do a quick inventory. Always know that you have this place for your stuff to go. For me, I'm as guilty as anybody else in that. Just be organized. You don't have time to go digging for stuff. You don't have time. It's time to fix stuff, especially in the show. So very important to be organized. Having spares, and a lot of this is not just about the tour. I try to keep these things off topic of tour because a lot of people that are going to be watching these things, they might be interested in what I'm doing, but actually need more applicable information to their size and what they're doing, showing up as a festival house guy or a house guy in a venue or trying to get to that next level. So a lot of this information is for guys that are younger in their careers. So I want to be able to pass pertinent information along to those guys that are also curious about what's going on at my level, and that's fine. Really, when you're on a festival as a house guy, shouldn't be as much of a problem, but if you're showing up with stuff and you're dealing with bands or whatever the situation is on your quote festival day, always have extras, at least one at the minimum. Extra mic stands, microphones in all varieties, direct boxes, cables. Go the extra mile. That's a huge one. Go the extra mile. Have a guitar stand. You probably got one laying in your stuff. Saying all that, have an extra guitar stand. Have an extra mic cable. A little snark. A snark tuner. It's not the best solution, but if a band member gets there and doesn't have any way to tune his guitar, yes, it's his fault, but if we can be a problem solver and create a solution to that problem, then that's great. People will notice it, not all the time, but it will get noticed. So have those spares laying around. Batteries, 9-volt batteries, because batteries go dead in acoustic guitars or active pickups in anything. It's mostly AA's and the occasional 9-volt. So make sure to have plenty of spares for the situation that you're in. Don't just show up with the bare minimum, because it's going to bite you in the tail at some point, and you may lose gigs over it. So just keep that in mind. For other stuff, and that translates over to the tour side. I know some of you guys are wanting to know the tour side. We order plenty of batteries in advance. We've got several weeks worth of extra, especially batteries. We go through tons of batteries. That's a huge thing for us. And the organization, to where if somebody needs to grab something out of a toolbox of another guy, we know exactly where it is. You can be able to tell somebody instead of having to walk out to your work box every time to tell somebody or show somebody where these pliers are, or where's the soldering station, because we've got to solder something today because it got beat up in the truck on the way here. So that's huge. From there, big thing is, when you're dealing with bands and things that are going on, do your advance work. Know what you're walking into, so that everybody knows what they're walking into. Whether you need to cross-rent a piece of gear, or you need to bring something that you wouldn't normally bring. Somebody's expecting to have a wireless mic, and that's not normally part of your package. You need to load it up so that it's there, so nobody has to make a trip back to the shop. Make sure just everything's there, so you don't have to make those extra trips. And that's all part of the preparedness thing. Workflow from there, always be early. Have your stuff going, get your stuff down. You're there to work, not standing around and chat with the promoter and stuff like that. Get the stuff up as fast as you can, so that you're out of the way when the band or whoever's going to be using that stage shows up to do their thing. After that, really get a handle on the PA. This crosses into the sound part, whether you're a front of house guy or you're just doing everything from front of house that day on the given situation. Get the PA tuned to where you're not making noise and distracting people while they're trying to load in gear and talk to each other and communicate and try to get stuff patched. Try to be as out of the way as possible when there's things happening on stage. Have the lights all up to where you're not saying, hey, I need you to move the drum kit. I need to hang these lights. That stuff should all be handled by the time that the band gets there in these, smaller situations. In a house situation, it's probably not a big deal because it's already there. But for a festival type, portable stage coming in, that stuff needs to be up, done, troubleshot, I don't know. That's the word, trouble-free. So from there, have a clean stage to where there's no tripping and up piles of cable for musicians, because let's face it, they're not the brightest bulbs in the boxes. You get that stuff out of the way so you don't have a liability there. And offer a hand. Having done all that, you will have freed up time and you freed up space to now you're available to do the little extras that bands and promoters and festival organizers look at and go, wow, these guys really went the extra mile. It's part of keeping your job, but it's also just a good thing to do. Whether it makes you any extra money, it's probably not going to, but you look good for the client. And once you got the PA tuned and you've got everything, if you're not needed, the band doesn't want you to help, leave. Go drink some coffee. That's what I do. Drink lots of coffee. Lots of coffee. Maybe drink some water too. That's great on a summer festival time. Lots of coffee. Go take a smoke break. Get out of the band's hair. That's all to say that. Lots of coffee. They know what they need to do. With any luck, give them some time to get set up, and then you can come back in, patch the stage, do the rest of what you need to do before you can do a sound check. From there, I think we're going to leave it at that, because sound check and stuff of that nature is going to be its own episode. It's going to be getting into gain structures and some of the more technical questions that I've been asked already. So make sure to join us next time. We're probably going to start with the console layout and input lists and stuff like that. Some more maybe boring, mundane stuff to some of y'all, but these are building blocks. You know, some of the younger guys that are with us, we want them to start from the foundation and build their way up. So make sure to join us next time here at Todd Lewis Sounds. Subscribe, like, and all those good things. We'll see you next time. Lots of coffee.